My main man, Jon Tober. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a Monday morning. It's brisk in Texas. I miss this weather. I'm doing great.
What part of Texas you in?
San Antonio.
All right. So let me just we're going to talk about a couple things here, but we have a mutual friend, Todd Screama,
Oh, yes.
and he reached out, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, and said, dude, this guy is having epic growth. And so you and I had scheduled this podcast. I said, "Hey, dude." So I reached out to you. I said, "John, I want to hear about your epic growth. How'd you make it happen?" Right? Because I literally don't know how you did it yet. Right? So this is a I'm on a fact finding mission here. Um, and then you and I, by chance, were at the same event here this past week, and you're sitting at my table, you're saying, and you said, I asked you, so what's one thing you're doing? You said, well, I'm doing this and that. I didn't know who you were at the time.
Hmm.
We'd already spoken,
Yeah.
but when we're sitting there at our table, I didn't know who you were. I didn't know that we'd already spoken, right? And I said, hey man, I'm Carl, and what's working for you? And you said, dude, I've got this thing that's working for me. And you told me, and I thought, what a great idea. And I wrote myself a note, find out who this guy is and get him on the podcast. And then come to find out, you already were scheduled for the podcast. And I thought,
That was pretty crazy, right? I mean, what were the odds? That room was big. There's like, I don't know, 200 people there. And
dude, yeah, but it's bigger than that, John. We're talking about Earth, right? We're not talking
yes,
about
yes, very
conference
true.
room. We're talking. Let's call it English speaking Earth, because that's the only language I barely
Yeah,
pull off. So cool. What part of
me
Texas
too.
you in, man?
San Antonio, yeah. So we're San Antonio, been in the city all my life, and at one point I wanted to move out of the city, but then everybody came here, and it's been one of the best places to live.
Yeah, it's a great place to live, and it's a great market. I always think of San Antonio, kind of like the Tampa Bay area that I live in. It's kind of just a good working, and I get it, we have high end, low end, like everybody,
Mhm.
but the core group is just a good working class, uh,
Yes.
robust economy, and so good for you, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when Todd says, "Hey, Carl, man, you ought to check this guy out," that's a really 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 smart dude. Anytime he says, "Check this guy out," dude, I'm checking you out, right? So he's
You, and I'm honored too. I mean, this is Todd Screama. Todd is, to me, one of the sharpest guys in the not only our industry, but I think beyond that. I mean, he's a
oh,
student of everything, and to be able to be in the conversation of you and I in being introduced by Todd Screama,
mm.
there's nothing better than that.
First time I met that dude, I thought this guy's a savant. But
Yes.
the only thing about a savant is they're like typically when you think of a savant, you think, it's that 4-year-old that can play the piano like Beethoven, but then they struggle in other areas. I haven't found that thing he struggles in yet, and it kind of
Yes.
pisses me off a little bit.
You know what I think it is? He's just so intentional with everything.
hmm
Like
hmm
time, and we can all learn from that, right? So like we all have the same hours in the day, and if we want to do something in our, life, personal business, we can figure out a way to do it. And I think
hmm
Todd has been able to figure that out in a very high level.
hmm hmm I give you that. All right, so let's deal in some numbers first, and then let's talk a little bit about how you did it. And dude, I want to make sure I got a little asterisk here beside the book club thing.
Oh yeah,
That's a
yeah, that's a
that's the
good one.
thing at the event you said you're doing, and I went, wait, what?
So
Which is
excited about that.
it just I love nice, simple, easy plans that are easy to duplicate and are getting results. Like I
Yes.
just love that kind of stuff. And this on first glance, this seems like that's going to fall right into that. So just to start us off, for those that don't know you, banker, broker, loan officer, branch manager, like kind of give us a lay of the land here.
Yes. So, mortgage banker, been in mortgage for 26 years now. Student of the industry, so always trying to wherever I move, I always try to stay there as long as I can and go where a place that I can actually grow from. And so, yeah, so just learning through, the places I go and trying to find just smart ways to not only grow me as an individual, but
Mhm.
also grow my business at the same time.
Yeah. And that's what Todd reached me out is the percentage of growth you've had was impressive. So
Thank
and
you.
and 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 as I'm sitting here today, I don't remember the time frame that he was talking about, but
Yep,
I need to take your humble hat off here just for a
I
few
will.
minutes. Yeah,
Absolutely will. Yeah.
yeah, we're not here to impress people. We're here to
Nah.
inspire people. And if you can help me
Yes.
do that, mission accomplished. So
Okay. Yeah, for
and
sure.
and and
Absolutely.
and, and again, for complete clarity, you work with Todd
Hmm.
over at Summit.
Yes,
So
I
I
do.
just want to give a non-scripted plug for over there. Outstanding group of people,
Yes.
and certainly the leadership is impressive. So so where were you and where are you now, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think, we all hit struggles in our business, and the beauty and also the struggle with what we do is it always changes. We can't
Mm,
always do the same thing and expect the exact same results. So we got to evolve with what's going on in our market. So I start with that because 2023, I think it was a really tough year for me. Like 50% drop in production, uh, questioning, am I really good at what I'm doing? You know, being continuing to being a student, but just not getting the results and asking myself, why is that? Like, why am I not getting the results that I used to get in the past? And so, happenstance, well, before I go to that, a lot of what we do is trying to find, good mentors that we can attach to help our business grow. And what luckily by happenstance, I went to one of our summit retreats and was blown away by Todd and the group, and basically checked all the boxes for me personally of what I was looking for in my business and the direction I needed to go. So, having great mentors, I think, is a big deal. Being able to know exactly what the direction the business is going, what do we need to change as loan officers? Because if you think about it, like the industry is changing quickly. You got AI, and that's bringing some really great things to us. It's also bringing some challenges of the smarter it gets, the more we have to become a little more valuable. Well, a
mm,
lot more valuable, right?
mhm,
And what that looks like is sharpening the psychology of what we do, being super curious with who we meet and how we can help them. And, not only that, but continuing to be a student. So I've been doing this a long time, and I run into some people that are in the industry and they believe they know what they're doing. Like, I heard this, I'm not going to listen, but close my ears. The problem with that is the growth is in repetition.
mm.
So the more we repeat the more we hear it, the more we implement. And sometimes we catch a few nuggets that we weren't doing, but we know we should. And so those are the things that really helped me get in the right direction of, getting out of that place of where I was before to the growth that we're talking about today, which is continuously being a student.
All right. So in 2023, like where you when you were in this slump, like
Yeah.
and I prefer to talk units rather than volume because
Okay.
somebody talking volume in San Diego is way different than somebody doing volume, say, in Ohio, right? So
Right.
it doesn't make them any better or worse of a loan officer. So I prefer the units thing. So when you were in your slump, like what a typical unit per month, what were you running at that time?
Man, I went pretty down. I think I was doing like, I think I was averaging like three transactions a month,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
And so that was hard. It was hard.
Which, you can make a living at that. You got to be
Yeah.
careful. Got to be careful
Right.
with your spending, but I've always thought that's been a little bit, it's a blessing and a curse of the mortgage industry is
Yeah.
that we can close, a couple, three a month and,
Make a good
and
living.
and do okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
I call it CPA money. Make a which is not bad. I'm not making fun of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a bad living. I often thought our curse is you know, people like you and I, we hang out with people that are making, mid six figure, high six
Yes.
figure,
Yes.
seven figure income. And suddenly when we find ourselves making 150K for the year, we think, man, I suck. Right? When it's like,
Yes. Yes.
well, wait a minute. I'm not
You-
saying we can't improve upon that, but
Right.
100, 150K, um, unfortunately, can be okay. You know.
And you said something that's important. What you said is there's other people that are doing better than we are at that moment, and we've got to attach ourselves to those people.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was missing. I wasn't attaching myself to those people at that moment.
Yeah. So let's say for the last 2 months or so, like when Todd reached out, I can't
Yeah.
remember I honestly don't remember the numbers that he told me. So so you were at three, and where you're trending at now?
So I should close the year this year closer to like right around 70 units.
So 70. So if I get up my magical calculator here and do, whoops, and do 70 divided by 12. So we're running about six a month, give or take.
That's right. Yeah.
So a doubling. And is that coming into the fall here? Like, is that like what'd you do last month?
So last month it closed 8 transactions last month. This upcoming month I've got 9 with 2 that are going under contract now, so potentially more than that, but yeah,
Yeah.
about
So
9.
a nine, and I'm using air quotes here, sure
Yeah,
thing. We
right.
know nothing's a sure thing, of course, right?
That is true. Yes.
So,
Especially in
dude,
this
going
business.
going from in the number that I usually use here in our podcast, we don't talk about basis points, and we know everybody gets paid different amounts depending upon how much support the company gives or doesn't give, and do you pay for your own help or does the company pay for your help and CRM and all that stuff? So the number we usually use is $3,000 at closing. That's kind of our rubber stamp number that we use across the
Okay.
country. And so going from at three at 9,000 to nine, which is what, 27,000.
Mhm.
Dude, that's a remarkable difference.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
it's impressive. People. I got friends of mine. They go get their master's degree, to make another 5 grand a year.
Yeah.
And good for them, right? I encourage them. I
Right.
think that's
Exactly.
awesome. I think that's wonderful. Which again
Yeah.
goes back to our curse is we go, oh, I only made another 20 grand this year, dude. That's a difference between a teacher and the principal of a school, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's a big deal. So how'd you do it, man?
I just started getting super intentional, and part of it was this book club as well. Like, um, we tend to put ourselves in front of ourselves. So like, the fear of failing, that's the biggest thing. Like not being afraid to just do it, and whatever the outcome is, it is. And so the beginning of this year, that's really when I started to see this bigger growth happen, and it had a lot to do with a book called Burn the Boats by Matt Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it was about, hey, get your fear, put it aside, just do it. And the gold is in the reps.
Mm. You know, I got a lot of good stuff from that event that you and I both were at. Man, I'm so glad. I don't go to many events. My schedule
Me
just doesn't
neither.
allow for it.
Yeah,
Like there's another one right now up in Michigan that I wanted to go to so bad, and I've just been on the road, and my daughter-in-law has some. Anyway, it's hard. I'm so glad I went to that.
me too.
One of the things that I got, it's these little quips that you hear sometimes. These little,
Yeah,
like for me, game-changing, like little nuggets, little saying something. I don't remember who it was, but somebody said, which I love this, that when we do something, we either win or we learn. There is
yes,
no lose. We either win or we learn. And frankly, when I win, I don't learn. I only learn when I lose. Like when something
yeah.
doesn't go right, it's not a failure. It's a learning lesson. So I'm kind of hearing you say,
Yes.
kind of that. So when you say more intentional, give me your definition of intentional.
So what I figured out is I need to be more direct with who I go after. I need to
Mm,
find the agents that are closing the amount of transactions in this market that can refer back to me at a level that I need my business to grow. And so part of it was targeting the right people. Then the second part of that was how do I engage these new relationships and be sticky? So one of the things that, I've always heard about book clubs. It's not something new. I've never been in a book club. I didn't know how to start it, but I knew that there's a lot of agents, even in today, that are still looking for guidance. And so that book club, it allowed me to offer something of value and teach something that is valuable to them to implement in their business. And
mm,
so that right there, over a duration of time. We're meeting over, every week, and it's diving into that relationship. And these are quality people that are doing some great numbers that, I want to attach myself to.
So, all right, so book club. So let's talk about that. So when you say they're, and the term I've always used is qualified,
Yes.
uh, like what you say these are good, well-producing agents. Like, is there a kind of like what kind of range or is there a units or volume or how do you decide who's eligible and who's not?
Yeah. So if they're doing 8 transactions a year,
Okay.
buy sides.
It's the exact number that I use. Just not that
Is it
that makes
really?
it right or wrong. That I swear
Yeah.
that's the exact number that I've used for years and years.
Yeah.
It's that eight
Because
number.
some of that's going to go to cash. Some of that's going to go to,
Yeah.
uh, they want to go with their bank builder. I mean, in this market, there's so much builder business. It's crazy. Like a third of
Yeah.
the business here is builder. So I gotta figure out who the targets are, who the right targets are.
All right. So you get a list of targeted agents or agents
Hmm.
that you're targeting, and you do it by units that they're doing at least 8 buy size in the last 12 months, and then you decided to do a book club.
Yes.
So so let's talk about the so how'd you get them to show up? So is this a Zoom or in person or a conference call? Like what does it look like?
Yeah, so yeah, it's in person, and it's funny because I have some agents that are in different cities like Austin, Dallas. So I think I do need to open this up to a Zoom as well. But for now, it's in person, and I've never been good at like getting people to an event. I'm an introvert by nature. Like
That's
these
so
things are
funny.
hard for me.
Yeah.
But adding value and just getting them a little bit of a picture, some color about why to come,
Yeah.
and then just kind of building off of that. Once they're there, they're there. Like the fallout rate is not very high. I've got to normally people that show up are there throughout the entire book, which tells me I'm doing something right.
You know, I think I think and I'm just thinking out loud here, I think I do two of them. Same book, same topic. It just and I wouldn't necessarily tell each group about I don't know if I'd hide it, I guess. No
You
need to
do it at
hide.
the same time?
I would do it separate. I would have my face-to-face group
Ah,
and I would have my Zoom group. Because my face-to-face group, when we were talking with Jimmy
oh, that's so
here
good.
this last week, Jimmy said no question face-to-face works better.
Yes.
And it does. It does. Or the relationship goes deeper faster. Just like when I
Mm,
always equate things back when I was dating. If I
yeah.
want to if I want to date the lovely Mrs. White, I'm not going to Zoom her. I want to get face to
Right.
face, right?
Yes.
But if she's out of town for the week, I'd rather do a Zoom than
Yeah.
not meet at all, right? And
Right.
so I think the face to face, because that's going to convert better. But then it comes back to that thing. But I want a bigger cup. In other words, I want a bigger net. I want a bigger uh,
Yes.
sphere of influence. And so for the ones that aren't local, maybe put them on a Zoom. So, all right. So how
Love
many,
that idea.
where do you hold this thing at? Like when they show up, you said it's once a week. What,
It's once a week.
what time and what day?
We do it on a Thursday. That's my marketing day, so it's easy for me to get out. And I'll do it at 11:30, right before lunch.
And so is it where's the location? Where are you meeting at?
We partner up with a title company, and they've got a great
Um,
conference room, nice
a
little
great idea.
setup. Yeah, yeah. And then what part of our people that show up is a builder. So between the title company, myself, and the builder, we sponsor lunch for these agents.
Okay. Like that. So that's once a week. How many agents show up?
On average, about five to six.
All
Yeah.
right. And how long is it?
It's about an hour and a half if we
Okay.
really dive and start mind melding.
All right. And how did you get these five to show up? Did you email it or did you social media? Do you pick up the phone? Like how'd you get them to show up?
So a lot of these, some of them are new relationships. So part of it is staying in touch with them, offering something of value, and just giving them a little bit of an idea, some breadcrumb.
Hmm.
Finding out what the struggles are that they're going through today, and then finding a way to intertwine that with what I'm doing in this book club.
So how did you? I mean, did you call them? Was this a social media post? Like, how did you get them to? How'd
Okay,
you how'd,
gotcha.
how'd you how'd you tell them about it?
Yeah.
Keep hitting the
So
microphone.
I reach out. It's a phone call for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, phone call for sure, intimate, a good conversation. And then from that point, it's a text reminder.
Okay. So on the five, so how many people did you call? Did you know everybody ahead of time?
Yes,
So you
yes,
might not have worked with them, but you knew their name.
that's right.
Did they
These
know
are
you?
yes,
Okay. So these are
yeah,
people that you knew.
or
And
acquaintance that we're trying to develop
I
in
get
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you knew they weren't because the first thing, again, I'm an introvert also. And so the
yeah.
first thing that I go is like, how do you make sure there's not a jerk in the group?
Oh, yeah,
And so these were people because there's always, if you do a blind invite, there's always
yeah.
one.
Oh,
There's
yeah, for
always,
sure.
and even if they're not trying to be a jerk, they're, you know, just
People are
not,
people.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So these were people that you knew or were acquainted with. They knew you or at least knew your name, which is easy to do these days with social media. I can get anybody, any group of people. I can get a group of plumbers
yeah,
to think I'm Oprah, or kind of thing,
yeah.
right? Easy enough, as long as you bring something of value. So how many agents did you call and speak to and invite to get the five?
It's a top 40 list. So it's a qualified list of 40 people that I want to dive and do some great business with.
All right. And is it the same five each week, or does like two or three of them, some weeks are there, some weeks are not, or no, pretty much they're always there?
Pretty much they're always there.
All right.
Yeah.
And so you called 40, you got five to show up.
Mhm.
Um, did you have a number like, I don't want more than this? Like,
Yes.
what was that number for you?
There's a good book. What is the Napoleon Hill Masterminding? Not more than eight.
Okay.
Yeah. So eight would be the cap. Five is actually a good sweet spot because that
I can
allows
see
us
that.
to, yeah, part of it is uncomfortableness too. When you're in a group of people that you don't know, people tend to hold back. So at the beginning, we've got to set the presence of, hey guys, this is an open forum. Like we're gonna get uncomfortable. Let's open up. This is you're here to grow your business. So for us to do this right, you got to get uncomfortable.
Hmm. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. Did you have any trouble with like a know-it-all?
Not yet. Actually, wait a minute. No, not yet.
So I like the way you say not yet. So again, another boy, it was just such a great event. Another thing that I heard at the event was it was like one of the speakers got up and say, always be a student,
Oh
be
yes,
humble. Even if you're doing great, be
yes,
humble. And he kind of had this little, everybody repeat after me. I don't know everything and I'm always a student. I don't know
yes.
everything and I'm always a student. And I think like opening something, I really like that. So
I do
like
like that.
if I was doing a group, I think I would, hey, great to have everybody here. And one thing I've learned is I don't know everything and I'm always a student. Did everybody agree with that? All right, everybody repeat. I don't know everything and I'm always a student. And
I
that
love that.
way
I wrote
it
that
takes
down.
away that, like it takes away that know-it-all raising his or her little hand and starting to become a know-it-all because
Yes.
and,
Yeah.
anyway, I like it. All right, so you got five people. Had you decide or what book did you decide on first and how long are we doing that one book for?
Right. So the first one I chose was actually Burn the Boats.
Okay.
That was the first one we chose, and we rolled that out from December through February, mid-February. And if you think about it, like there's a lot of reason not to show up in that time frame.
Yeah, for sure.
Holidays,
Yeah,
so we had every time we had the meeting, we everybody showed up. I mean, there's once in a while
I
somebody
get
didn't
it.
show up, but
I
for the
get it.
most part, yeah, everybody showed up. So
So about 90 days for that book.
mhm.
Do you do like a chapter, a meeting, or how do you decide? Like, how does that work?
Right. So yeah, we'll do a chapter, a meeting, and afterwards, actually we'll come and we'll talk about the chapter, and then we'll figure out, what the action plan is that would move the needle in their business to get either more closings or to get out of their way. Burn the boats is more less about tactics and more about getting out of your own way. So the growth that we saw from that chapter with everybody who showed up was just that. Like, how do you get out of what is it that you see yourself holding yourself back? And what can you do to get out of your own way?
So we don't just discuss the chapter, then we go, all right, Jenny,
Right.
what's your action item for this next week kind of thing.
Exactly.
I like that. Do you, one thing I've always thought, and I might be wrong on this, but one thing I've always thought with my referral partners, I can be an inspiration. I can share information back and forth with them. Uh, but I always thought, and again, maybe I'm wrong, I don't want to be their accountability partner because then if they didn't do it, they'll
Mhm.
start to ghost me because they're embarrassed
Mm,
and they, don't want to, they don't want to be.
yeah.
There's an old saying, everybody wants accountability until you actually offer it to them.
Right.
And then the top 3%, which you certainly fall on that, they want to be held accountable, right? But the
Right.
97% don't. Is there like so at the next meeting, do you go, all right, Susan, all right, Dave, did you do it? And if not, how come? Is there that component of it, or
Yeah.
do you not go there?
We absolutely do. Yeah. We put a date on it.
Interesting.
Put a date on it. And,
Interesting.
and if you think about it, these are qualified people that are working at a high level that do want to move the needle.
Yeah. Different
So
group
that
of people.
account,
So the accountability is not something that they're dodging. It's something the right people embrace it.
that's right. That's right. So whether it's 4 or 5, whatever, these are quality people that we're going to develop a great relationship on.
Are they so how long have you been doing this for?
So December of last year was my first book.
So coming up as we're recording this, we're in the first week of November
Mhm.
of 2025, and so coming up on a year.
That's right. Yeah.
And have they increased their business?
So it depends on the topic. So the first one was getting out of your own way. The second one was the 12-week year, and that was about business planning. This next one is buy back your time. And
Mm,
so the last one, 12-week year, there was one student, I say student because I think we're all students, but
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
there was one realtor, great man, does 25 buy sides a year, certainly knows what he's doing, and wasn't hitting his database. Like he just wasn't touching
Mm,
his database, but he was getting all. So what we decided to do is we put a plan together to reach out to his past client, and we put that date on top of that. So he turned November into a 7 unit buy side closings, from
mm,
3 of which came from past clients that he would have never had. And these are
mm,
the relationships. Like if I can impact somebody that way that's doing that kind of business, and be sure that they understand what's in it for me, because we are all doing this for a reason. I think that's invaluable.
mm. You you getting business from it?
I am.
Because I see how this benefits you two ways, actually three. So number one, you learn,
That's right. Yes.
right? And
Yes.
and nobody ever learns more than the teacher. I
That's true.
hands down. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people ask me, Carl, why do you still do this? I love learning,
I can
right?
tell.
And yeah, and I do. So number two, getting referrals from those people, right? But let's face it, there's only five people to get referrals from
Hmm.
in the group. And I
Right.
think the third way that I would use this would be I'd have an email campaign
Hmm.
going out to say I'd find the top agents in my state. Like you're in Texas, so there's probably I'm just going to guess 20,000,
Yeah.
uh, eight or more producers, eight or more in the last 12 months producers in the state of Texas. I'd write it.
Yes.
I'd write an email out, and it'd go out every Saturday morning at 7:30 local time, and it'd say, "Hey, last week in Jon Tober's book club, I'd have a sexier name. Not that your name isn't sexy, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
have, yeah,
Well, we
yeah.
hadn't we haven't covered the name yet. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh, well, hang
No,
on.
no, I'm totally kidding. It's
Okay,
as
okay,
simple as that. Yes.
okay. And I would say, hey, at our last meeting, one thing that we talked about was insert in some useful piece of information. And so you always want to make sure that you're ABC 1, 2, 3. And next
I
week,
love that.
next week we're covering, ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Uh, P.S. Can I count on you for your next buyer lead that comes across your desk? I'd love to work
Yes.
with you. I'd love to work with you next month.
I
And
wrote that
something,
down.
yeah, something as simple as that, like having that email going out, and I'd send that out every Saturday morning to all the top agents um, in the state
Love
of
that.
Texas. So yeah,
Great
and
idea.
and I'd also in that email I'd give reference like one thing Realtor Susan said was insert
Mm,
in thing, and that way Realtor Susan likes getting that little that little spot of sunlight
yes.
the gold star, so to speak,
Yeah.
and then maybe I'd have we're taking applications for our Zoom book of the club. Maybe you'd like to be a part of, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. And
Yeah.
it's relatable. So if I can add like a little piece of what somebody took away from it as an agent, target to other agents in the form of an email or a text, I think
Yeah.
that brings engagement and it
Mhm.
allows me to really get that next. I think it goes back to, and going through, Todd always talks about this. He says that with the breadcrumbs, and the more you leave these breadcrumbs, the more interest. And then at some point, it's like a movie. You see these little clips, and then as the time goes on, you get bigger and bigger clips. And before now the movie's out, and you're like, I've got to see that movie. Same type of same type of thing that we're talking about here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because somehow you have to figure out, all right, so we're getting business from those 5 agents.
Mhm.
How do we how do we scale it? And
Yeah.
so a couple of
Yeah.
ways, number one, we could do book club group two, same book, same
Mhm.
chapter, same everything. It's just now we got a second one.
Yeah.
But again, that's not scalable at large numbers. And so
Mhm.
somehow we have to figure out like how do we use this book club information and blast it out to a bigger crowd, and asking for the business from that crowd. And it goes into a thing I've always learned, like if you want to start to work with somebody and you're doing it through communication, I do the
Mhm.
teach, tell, touch, sell. So
Okay. Love that.
teach them something in one email. The next email, I'm going to tell them a story of success. Teach,
Mhm.
tell, touch. Next one, I'm going to touch their heart. Tell them something about the lovely Mrs. White, or hey, me and the family were doing this, or
Yes.
a heartwarming story of somebody that I helped, or because there's
Yeah.
plenty of those. And then,
Oh, they love stories.
yeah, yeah. And then teach, tell, touch, and the last one, sell. I come out of the closet and say, hey, I want to
Yeah.
work with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so just kind of a series of 4 emails. So, dude, I
Yeah.
love it, man. So um, yeah, I don't think book club is new,
No,
but dude, I literally know of zero loan officers currently doing it with their referral partners. Like nobody. It's
they
such a
need to.
simple and great. I think the thing that would hold most people back, and it'd make me hesitant,
Yep.
is like, all right, well, I got to lead this thing, and these are top
Yes.
producers, and
Yeah.
they're so much smarter than I am,
Oh,
and
yes.
you
All these
know,
things.
what if it's boring, and
Right.
how do I
What
keep
if
it
I don't?
excited?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you overcome? I'm sure those thoughts
Oh my
would enter.
gosh, for sure. Yes. Yeah. It's the narrative gap, going back to Rene Rodriguez. And
Mm,
and so, I think I had to get out of my own way. If I don't try it, if I don't fail, and what's interesting is I didn't realize that I was afraid to fail until I just started putting myself out to fail.
mm,
and knowing that that feeling is just something that I got to overcome. So
mm,
being ready to just, hey, whatever happens, happens. And you get two
mm,
people that show up, it doesn't matter. Like just keep doing it. And before
mm,
you know it, you're going to get really good at it and you're going to get some great referring partners because you're doing
mm.
something that's impactful.
I love it, man. And I guess one could, are you using any kind of AI or chat GPT with like, hey, here's chapter 3, give me some good talking points?
It's funny you say that because yeah. So it does
Sure.
great in the first couple of chapters, but then it gets watered down and it doesn't actually go into the mechanics of the chapter. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so I did make that mistake. So if you decide to do a book club, don't use ChatGPT for it. Read the chapters and do the
Yeah.
actual work because shortcuts is not going to get you there.
I find so far I find like ChatGPT to be real good at short, simple, sweet, easy.
Yeah,
Um, when it comes time to like it'll write an email, I think pretty good.
yeah,
But if I tell it to write a book, and I'm sure not that it can't, but it's just programmed not to spend that much time on any one topic. I think what it is, because you got millions of people around the world using it at any given time. So good for you,
makes
man.
sense.
Well,
Yeah,
dude,
makes sense.
outstanding, man. Well, I'm so glad Todd hooked us up, and
Me too. Yeah, me too. And I'm
I,
honored.
dude, I love your story. I love. Hey, so let me ask you, just as we close out here. So, and again, I'm going to use that 3,000 number, right,
Okay.
for closing. So, going from the equivalency of three closings at, and let's just say 9 grand
Mhm.
to let's call it somewhere around 30 grand.
Right.
Like, so what? Like, what changed? No, I don't mean what changed to get you there. Now that you're making that money, what changed when you
Yeah.
virtually tripled your income? Like, what changed?
What changed in me or what changed what?
What was the result? Because
Yeah.
we're now making this, oh, dude,
Right.
now we got this. Like, what,
Right.
what, what's the benefit of the result?
I think in if I'm so I think where my change happened was became I became a student again.
Hmm.
And I started implementing things in my business that I knew I needed: psychology of the sale, making sure that I'm being super curious with my clients, super curious with my referring partners.
Yeah, but what
Uh,
you do with the money? That's what I'm at.
oh,
Like once you started getting the money, like
yeah,
going from 9 grand to 30 grand is
got it.
impactful. Like
Okay.
what changed from not of your growth. Now I'm going shallow and sleazy here. What'd you do with the money?
I love it. Well, so I've made my mistakes in the past, and so I put 20% aside.
Good for you, man.
Savings, yeah, absolutely. Put it aside, savings, trying to get liquid. And, I really want to build a legacy. And the only way to do that is to always put 20% aside. What helped me through that too is good coaching and staying on top of like my numbers. Because if don't have somebody holding me accountable and putting that on my radar, it's easy to lose sight on. Money's emotional. One of those
Mhm.
things that we lose control over because, everybody wants something now, but we need that discipline.
Brother, I tell you, and I've said this probably 100 times here on the podcast. I could go back and kiss me on the lips for putting myself in a really good financial situation, by and the
Love
guy
that.
that taught me 25%. So 20, 25,
Oh
15.
yeah,
I don't
that's
care.
that's
I don't think it
amazing.
almost
Yeah.
matters what the number is, frankly, because the compounding effect over years, it's wonderful when your money makes you more money than you make you money.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And
Yes.
it's just man, my hat's off to you, brother. That's
Yeah.
uh that's how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
40. Actually, my birthday is November 5th in 2 days. So I'm 46.
Good for you, man. So yeah, you got a good runway in front of you.
Oh, appreciate
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
man. My hat's off to you, buddy. That's
Thank you.
saving that money and yeah, setting up a legacy for not just if you have any, not just your kids, but your kids'
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
And not that they can't do it on their own. It's just nice to. I sure wish I had a great upbringing, and I'm very grateful for how I was raised and who raised me, which is my parents, my grandparents, and aunts and uncles. But boy, wouldn't it have been nice to wake up at the age of 45 and find out there's about $10 million sitting for you that
Ooh.
that an uncle left you. That now that you've done it on your own,
Yeah.
here's just a little extra boost, and we can be
I win
that
that lucky.
person. We
Yeah.
yeah, we can be that person not just to our family but to ourselves 10 years from now.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah,
Yes.
good for you, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, brother, congratulations. So, is there something I should have asked you that I didn't?
You know what, Carl? I want to thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. I've seen you guys from the start and where you've built today. And every time you have someone on, you're bringing value to people in our industry. And so for that, I want to tell you thank you for having me on, and thank you for all that you do for us in the industry to help us grow. And I also learned that you're also a coach of someone who I think very highly of, Jim Reed.
Yeah. Well,
Amazing.
so Jim is kind enough to say that I'm his coach, right? But I always tell everybody that him and I arm wrestle on who's coaching who, quite frankly. And I think I look at it as more of a collaboration.
Love
Uh,
that.
for me,
Thank you.
it truly is. It's that,
Yeah.
you said at the beginning. it's man, it's all about who you're hanging out with.
Yes.
And that is so important. And I've learned to protect myself about who I hang out with, just like and I don't mean no sexist offense by this, but I
Mhm.
think of, I protect myself like I would my 10-year-old. I don't have one now. They're
Yeah.
all grown up, but
I know.
protect myself like a 10-year-old girl. How
Yeah.
would I protect a 10-year-old girl? That's
Hmm.
how I protect me. And obviously we protect
Love
the
that.
boys. And I don't mean anything by that,
Right.
but
Right.
how would I protect them and protect my mind, protect who I hang out with as if I was 10
Yes.
years old?
Love that.
It's such a big deal. So, brother, I'm honored to be hanging out with you. So we could sit
Thank
here
you.
and love fest all back and forth, but it's great having you on, John. Hey,
Thank you.
if somebody wants to reach out to you, is there some way to do that, or social media like your
Yeah.
Facebook or profile, or LinkedIn or something?
They can look me up on at Facebook, Jon Tober, or Tober Lens on Instagram.
All right, perfect. So
Yeah.
we'll put a link to that in the show notes. So good stuff, man. Well,
Awesome.
brother,
Thank you.
I can't wait to have you on again, and we'll get an
Thank you.
update, see how things are going, dude.
Sounds good.
I like the getting a bigger cup, and
Great idea.
and
Yes.
even if you don't do that, I love the
Oh, I'm doing
idea
it.
of sending out the emails
Yes.
to a large group. Here's what we talked about. Here's what we're going to talk about, and here's one little simple nugget to help you. That way, they don't have to be on the call to receive benefit from it. So good stuff, man.
Great nugget.
Thank you,
Implementing that for
John.
sure. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Hey, just real quick before you go, as you're listening to this today, if the thought of accountability, but doing it with a hug instead of a stick, if that's something that you're open to, I'd love to talk to you. I'm starting a new group that I'm personally going to lead, and we're going to do Zoom meetings, and it's going to be an accountability group, but it's going to be done my way. And yeah, so I'd love to talk to you about that if you're ready. If you're ready, like we a lot of us we know what to do. It's just you know we just need help, right? We need help. We need help. Maybe some tweaking the fine points, and we need help to make sure that we actually show up, right? And do what we already know to do. So if that rings a bell to you, let's see. And I'm doing this very impromptu. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to email Diane at themarketinganimals.com. Diane at themarketinganimals.com. So it's normal spelling, Diane, right? Normal spelling, normal Americanized spelling, Diane. Diane at themarketinganimals.com. Tell her you're interested in talking to me about my new accountability group that I'm starting out, and let's chat about that. I think I really believe that's 80% of it. I think it's 20% learning what to do and making sure that we're focused on intentional, being more intentional about what we're doing, like what John said. And but I think about 80% of it is just making sure I'm showing up and doing what I already know to do to an extent. So anyway, Diane at themarketinganimals.com, and just put in the subject line uh, Carl's group, right? Carl's group. So, so I appreciate you guys, and thanks for letting me be a part of your day as you're listening to this. And yeah, I really believe that we're all of us. I think you're capable of doing great things. It's just hanging out with the right people, and I'd love to hang out with you. So, Diane at themarketinganimals.com. All right, I think that's it. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you when you once you hook up with Diane. She'll hook us up. So I'll talk to you then. All right, bye.